Hello? Oh! Oh!
She's coming.
She's coming? Stop. No way.
The woods may promise adventure and escape, but when night falls, they often reveal something far darker. In this video, we dive into 7 unsettling camping encounters that horrifying the campers, where strange sounds, mysterious figures, and chilling disturbances shattered the illusion of safety deep in the wilderness.
Hello?
This next scary night comes from the YouTube channel Exploring with Angelo. Angelo heads into a snowy forest in Canada that locals talk about in a way that already makes you pause a little. Tonight, Angelo isn't completely alone. His friend Frank is with him, which already changes the energy a bit. 2 people in the woods usually feel safer, at least at the beginning. But places like this don't stay normal for long. But if you've watched enough of these night explorations, you already know something about the woods.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another adventure here in snowy Canada. Yeah, tonight is it's a mild one. It's not that cold, but it's also a little bit deceiving. This is very humid, that your skin feels very cold very quick. Anyway, we just had a very funny experience, to say the least. So we pulled up, we were sitting in the truck for a little bit, and started getting the camera stuff ready. And I was out of the truck, and all of a sudden I see these 2 animals coming towards me. I'm like, oh, is that coyotes? Are they wolves? I don't know. Couldn't really tell because the street is just completely pitch black.
They have a way of slowly changing the atmosphere. They keep heading further down the snowy trail, going deeper between the trees. Everything looks peaceful, but the quiet out there feels a little heavier the farther they go. Then, another moment pops up from somewhere in the woods that makes them pause again. It's one of those little things that makes you stop mid-step and listen for a second.
Did you hear a whistle?
I'm going to assume that's what it was.
That's what it sounded like. I don't see any lights or anything. It didn't sound like it came from down there.
No, I wouldn't say down there.
Oh, look at this. Way back there. Hello?
A bit later, the forest breaks the silence again. Something small happening off the trail that makes them turn their attention toward the trees. As they move along, another quick moment grabs their attention. It's the kind of thing that reminds you the woods aren't always as empty as they look.
That was a whistle again.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah. Let's see if we hear it again. It's all quiet now. Can't seem to figure out where that smell was coming from.
No, it's gone right now.
Yeah. I just heard somebody. Sounded like it came from that direction. But now I heard some that direction.
Later on, something else happens near the trail that makes them stop walking again for a moment. By this point, they're definitely paying closer attention to everything around them. Around here, the conversation slows a little, like both of them are trying to focus on what's happening around them while they keep moving. Then, Angelo decides to try something interesting he once found in this area. The sound it makes carries through the trees in a way that travels much farther than you'd expect.
Wait, what are you looking that way for? I heard it to the right.
Huh?
You didn't hear... I heard.
That, like, I don't know what that was. It sounded like clapping or something.
Yeah.
You heard it that way?
Yeah. I mean, it might have just been my perception of. That was weird.
I literally heard it that way. Something down there? Well, I'm gonna run the spirit box. If I can get my thing out. For like a second there, I was feeling confused.
Disoriented, right?
A little bit,
Okay,
yeah.
I felt the same
too?
thing. Yes.
I was like just swiping through on my phone, like, wait, what was I looking for again?
Another sudden moment breaks that silence. This time it's quick enough that both of them immediately look toward the woods around the trail. A little later, Angelo notices something further ahead for just a second before the darkness hides the area again.
Yeah. It's pretty much all the same.
That wasn't the same.
No, that was something else. What the was that? Okay. I just saw something down there.
Well, I had the camera pointed that way.
Okay, that's good. Could have sworn, literally directly where my finger is, it looked like there was a person standing there, like in a hood or something.
Huh.
Then the night delivers another strange moment that feels oddly connected to something that happened earlier. A quick flash appears deeper between the trees. It happens so fast, you almost question if it even happened at all. By now, the walk definitely feels different than when they started. The trail looks the same, the snow looks the same, but the atmosphere feels completely different.
Okay, was that not just the whistle? The Aztec thingy?
That was definitely the Aztec. Well, I can't say definitely, but very similar.
Sounded like it. Okay, I think there's somebody down there.
But what did you think the odds of somebody else having that Aztec whistle?
Well, I found one here.
Oh yeah, that's true. You found it here. Yeah, you got a very good point with that.
Yeah, I mean, why they left it there is beyond me. I've seen that for sure.
The energy in the areas.
I just saw a fucking flashlight. Where the hell did it go? That was bright.
I thought I seen it at the corner of my eye, but I also thought I was seeing something, or just like my eye playing trick.
I think we're being followed.
I had that feeling about 5 minutes ago.
Is you there?
Huh?
Even when they stop for a bit near a small fire, the woods manage to interrupt the calm again with another unexpected moment nearby. And just before they decide to leave the area, something else happens deeper in the trees one last time, almost like the forest giving them a final reminder before the night ends.
It is like so abnormally quiet right now.
I know.
Okay, that was right behind us.
Some nights in the woods stay quiet, and then there are nights like this, where little moments keep happening just enough to make you wonder what else might be out there. So let me ask you something. If you were out here walking through the woods at night and things like this kept happening around you, would you keep exploring deeper, or would that be your sign to turn back? Now this scariest camping comes from Exploring with Bear. Bear goes back into the woods in the middle of winter to a spot he already knows, and that already knows him. Snow is falling lightly, the ground is covered, and everything looks calm in that quiet winter way that almost makes you forget how alone you really are. He sets up his tent, gets a fire going, and moves through the usual routine like any other solo camp. Coffee starts brewing, dinner is planned, and for a little while, it feels normal. Cold, yes. Isolated, definitely, but still normal.
So you can tell these underground caves are pretty humongous. This thing is huge. That looks like it's 30 feet high. It goes back a couple miles, and these are just one of the caves that we know about.
All right, look at that though. That is beautiful. It is sort of snowing right now. I'm going to be alone tonight, and it is going to be freezing. This is a very scary place, but I've been wanting to do a winter camp for a while now. It's been a while. So, tonight's the night. Cold winter camping. As you can see, I already got the tent put up. All right, so first, I think I need to get the fire going. We need to get a good bed of coals. We will be cooking dinner later on the fire, and right now, I want to get some coffee going.
Then small sounds begin slipping into the background, enough to make you lift your head for a second and listen a little harder than before. He doesn't rush to label it. He just stays with it, like anyone would.
Just heard, sounded like a twig snap. Like something stepping on a twig.
The snow keeps falling, the wind brushes through the trees, and the fire cracks in that steady way that makes you think you're still in control. Time moves forward and the light fades, and with every minute the space beyond the firelight feels a little wider. It's that feeling you get when you realize how far you are from anything familiar, even if you don't say it out loud.
Man, that light is really messing with me. It's getting way creepier. It's just about dark. Oh! Oh, did you guys hear that? Wait a minute. Is that ice too?
Later on, something pulls his attention off to the side. It's quick, but you can see it. That shift in focus where the world shrinks down to one dark patch between the trees. The night answers again, closer this time, and the calm routine from earlier doesn't quite fit anymore. Inside the tent, the wind presses against the fabric, but the air feels heavier than before. He waits, listening without wanting to admit he's waiting.
I had the camera off for a minute, just listening. It's getting darker. What was that? Was that a growl? What did I just hear? I can't tell you, man. The temperature is dropping. Can't see. I see my breath. Why? There it is.
Eventually, he steps out with the flashlight, the beam cutting through snow that looks harmless until you think about what might be moving just beyond it. And then something hits near the tent. Hard. Close enough that it doesn't feel like part of the weather. After that, things don't slow down. There's another heavy crash nearby. Snow moves again, and whatever is out there no longer feels distant. It feels close enough that you wouldn't want to stand still and wait. That's when instinct takes over.
That's somebody walking. Hello? Oh! 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 Dang it. Hold on. Hold on. Something just got thrown right outside the tent. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Oh! No. I'm armed. Hey. Hold on.
He grabs what he can and heads toward the truck, leaving the rest behind in the dark without looking back. By the time he's down the road, the woods look calm again, almost like they're pretending nothing happened. So tell me honestly, if you were out there alone in the snow and something that heavy came down right outside your tent, would you have stayed, or would you have done exactly what he did and gotten out of there? This one comes from The Men's Life, filmed deep in Scar Woods in Nova Scotia on the east coast of Canada. It's not the kind of place you casually wander into at night. To even reach this side, you have to cross a creek, and once you're over it, the world feels different. The trees grow tighter and the air feels heavier. There's no easy way out except the way you came. So before we go any further, let me ask you something. Would you cross a stream at night into a part of the woods most people avoid, knowing you're completely alone and there's only one clear way back? He's alone. And from the moment this begins, something already feels off, clearly affected by something that just happened near his tent, and you can tell it caught him off guard.
I know what I saw. There is a bipedal creature. And I know what I saw. There is a bipedal creature out here somewhere, and it ran off.
The energy is already high. The camera isn't steady in the way it usually is at the beginning of a normal vlog. Something has shifted before we even fully settle in.
I'm not staying here to find out, man. It's on the other side. I hear an animal around me.
You don't need it explained. You can see it. Within minutes, the decision is made. The woods are no longer a place to stay.
So, yeah, this is it. I'm getting the out of here right now. Everything's packed. Gotta leave the tent, but yeah. Whatever it is ran off back there.
And then the sounds start again. Something makes him stop and listen, and you can hear it in his breathing that he doesn't feel alone anymore.
Yell. I swear that was a yell. I'm sorry for being loud. It's just being alone right now.
He keeps walking, but he keeps reacting to noises around him. There's a pause, then another.
Jesus, hell. I am not alone. I am not alone.
It's close enough that he reacts without thinking. From there, the space around him feels tighter. Even when distant road noise drifts in from somewhere far off, it doesn't change the feeling that this section of woods is its own world.
I do hear traffic on the roads, which kind of makes it a bit better. But like still, we are deep.
Something louder breaks through again, sudden and heavy enough that he reacts instantly.
Holy shit. What the was that?
Later, what sounds like crying or a voice drifts through the trees, and that's the moment the mood shifts completely. This isn't just movement anymore.
Okay. I almost just had a freaking heart attack. I just heard like crying. Like a voice.
The creek comes back into view, and getting across it feels urgent, like stepping over a line that might change everything.
I gotta hop the creek. Because once I'm across the creek, it's like the energy just shifts into something better. So right now I feel like across the creek where I am.
But even after crossing, the sounds don't stop. He keeps turning, scanning behind him, trying to see where it's coming from.
What was that? Like squeak. I hear an animal around me. It's pretty big. I don't know what animal that could be, but it's at least the size of a deer. So I mean...
When he finally reaches the main path again, you can hear the relief in his voice.
So happy to be back on the main path. Civilization, here we come.
And once lights from civilization appear ahead, the panic shifts into disbelief, like he's still trying to process what just followed him out of those woods.
Anyways, made it back to see a gas station. I'm very, very happy to see a gas station, not gonna lie. It just marks civilization. I feel safe now. I don't know what could have been out there, but...
Now tell me, was something actually moving with him in Scarwoods that night? Or does a place like that start to feel alive when you're the only one inside it? If that creek was the only thing between you and whatever was out there, would you have crossed back calmly, or would you have run? Meet Gaz, the quiet and methodical presence behind the YouTube channel Grizzly Gaz. Known for his calm demeanor and grounded approach to wild camping, Gaz doesn't chase spectacle. He lets places speak for themselves. On February the 27th, 2023, he came up with the simple plan, but unsettling in its implications, to stealth camp along a disused railway line dismantled in 1953, a forgotten scar through the woods that local stories insist is haunted by an apparition known only as the Lady in White. According to legend, she once lived at the farmhouse overlooking the line, and by her own hand, has bound her to this stretch of land ever since. Gaz enters the woods not to provoke, but to observe, to experience the place as it is now, and to see whether the silence still carries memory.
Because you're not really supposed to be in these woods, but there is a spooky story that goes with these woods. The Lady in White is supposed to haunt this location. It's an old dismantled railway, and apparently the lady who lived at the farm up on top of this hill, she hung herself down here. Now this is going back into the 1800s, I think it was. I think that over there used to be one of the platforms for trains. Yeah, look, you can see up there, this is where they used to come down that path there, and this.
The story of the Lady in White hangs over the scene without needing to be spoken again. The kind of local legend that lingers not because it is dramatic, but because it refuses to. Gaz moves carefully, aware that he is somewhere he shouldn't really be, his presence temporary and easily erased by the woods. As he pushes deeper along the line, the remnants of human purpose begin to surface.
Looks like it would have been toilets at one point. You see all the glazed bricks. Here's one there, look. Does it say the maker? Farnley Iron Co. Look at this. Wonder if this were the station then here. But that's the farm up there. I don't know if you can see it, but that's where the Lady in White was supposed to have lived. Now it might just be an old wives' tale to try and keep kids from coming up here and dossing about. Or it might be true.
Raised ground where a platform once stood, bricks glazed and stubbornly intact, half swallowed by moss and soil. These aren't ruins preserved for history. They are leftovers, abandoned and ignored, slowly being reclaimed. Above the trees, barely visible through branches, sits the old farmhouse on the hill. Gaz chooses a spot nestled between trees, sheltered but exposed enough to feel the wind funneling through the cutting. As the sun drops below the horizon, the character of the place changes. Shadows lengthen along the old track bed, and the forest begins to close in visually, depth collapsing into darkness between trunks. The wind picks up, threading through the cutting like breath through a narrow throat. This is the hour when old stories usually begin, not with drama, but with subtle shifts that make familiar actions feel exposed. With food prepared and the camp established, the camera lingers on the edge of the railway line. Beyond the firelight, the darkness is complete. The farmhouse lights in the distance are faint, human life reduced to tiny points against the black mass of trees. The legend of the Lady in White no longer feels like a story told to scare children, but a way of explaining why this stretch of land feels emotionally unfinished. As the night deepened, a sound emerged from somewhere deep within the woods, thin, fragile, and unmistakably like a child weeping. Gaz tried to pinpoint its source, slowly scanning the darkness, but the camera revealed nothing.
Hello?
When the sound grew stronger, more defined, he made the decision to move farther into the woods, drawn by the need to understand what he was really hearing. As he moved deeper into the woods, there was no movement, no shape, no explanation, only darkness pressing in from every side. He called out several times, but his voice fell flat against the trees, swallowed without response. Fear settled in fully then, and with no answers waiting ahead, he made the only decision that felt possible: to return to the campsite. But what awaited him there would push the situation far beyond anything he expected.
Hello? Even our friends will heard that.
Within the forest, there was a brief moment of quiet, just long enough to breathe, before the sound returned. This time, louder, clearer, and sharp enough to trigger instinct before logic had any chance to intervene.
Nope. 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 Hello?
Realizing the situation was unraveling, Gaz made the hardest choice he could: retreat. But the decision had come too late to change what was already unfolding.
Hello? Hello?
As he left the site in a hurry, he caught a glimpse of something behind him, low to the ground, still, watching, its shape resembling a black cat at the edge of the darkness. Gaz couldn't be sure if it was instinct or imagination, and he didn't wait to find out, leaving the place without a second thought.
I can still hear it. Absolutely bobbed me pants then. A black cat sat on wall. Oh wow. I shat my pants then. Absolutely. Call me whatever you want, but that was just weird, that. Absolutely weird. That's the fastest I've ever packed up in my life. Look, I hadn't even done my shoes. Just threw them on.
Although Gaz left unharmed, the questions remained. Who was making those sounds and those orb-like eyes in the darkness? Were they really just a cat, or something far more sinister? Yet one thing was certain: places like this don't need proof or apparitions to feel haunted. They carry memories in their silence, things that resist explanation. The railway line may have been dismantled decades ago, but whatever lingers here has not moved on, and perhaps it never will. Meet Sam, the driving force behind the YouTube channel Sam Walks a Lot. Through his adventures, Sam, often accompanied by his friend Headley, takes viewers to abandoned and historically charged locations, seeking out the unexplained. Their unique blend of historical research and paranormal investigation keeps audiences on edge, but one night on an old highway, they would come to understand just how potent and unsettling these historical echoes could truly become. On the night of October 20th, 2025, Sam and Headley arrived at a forgotten stretch of the old A3, ready to embark on an all-night investigation. The overgrown path, once the main artery between London and Portsmouth, held a gruesome 200-year-old murder within its history. Their journey focused on two main sites, the stone marking where the occurred and the forbidden Gibbet Hill, where the were left to rot. As they continued their walk, a strange incident occurred with their equipment. Headley's camera abruptly turned itself on and then off again, emitting its startup jingle before shutting down completely. This unexpected technical malfunction in such a charged environment was the first unsettling sign of the night, leaving both puzzled.
Wow, this is really eerie, isn't it?
It is. I don't actually scare easily, but this is actually really eerie. Really weird.
What happened?
It turned itself on and then off again. It had that kind of startup jingle.
Right.
And then it had the bleep as it shuts down.
Oh, okay.
Just trying to work out what's going on.
Is it working all right?
I mean, the last clip I took was all the way back there.
Yeah.
Which is correct. Oh, okay. Okay.
Hello.
All right. I'm not being funny. I am sceptical, but that was weird.
I think it's good to have a skeptic.
I'm not a fully invested skeptic. I'm a tentative, could go either way.
Yeah.
But that was weird.
Yeah.
That's never happened, and I do a lot of filming.
I say to people that stuff happens with my technology when I go to these places,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, not everybody believes me, but it happens.
Well, yeah, it's happened with your gimbal tonight.
Reaching Gibbet Hill, where the had been hanged, they found a cross erected by locals, a testament to the area's lingering hauntings and an attempt to appease the spirits. The hill emanated an undeniable sense of unease, a feeling amplified by the historical horrors.
So this is Gibbet Hill. Okay.
If you had to put it in good order around it's over here, I guess. But...
Thank you. So, oh, what the f was that? This is crazy, you know.
Amazing.
So that's the cross. Locals were sure that this place was haunted, and the reason why they built this cross was to appease the spirits so that we don't roam here anymore. Look at that.
There's beetles on it as well, especially the other side.
Oh, is it?
So bad things happened.
They then deployed their paranormal equipment, including a Tasma box which lights up in the presence of electromagnetic fields, and a K2 meter, hoping to capture any intelligent responses. During their session on Gibbet Hill, the Tasma box began to pick up activity. After a hot spot was detected, Sam began to communicate with whatever was haunting the place and received a faint response.
Still vibrating. Yeah. So that's not good.
Maybe move it against there somewhere.
Here.
Yeah.
But that's a hot spot.
It just went red.
That is a hot spot. My name is Sam, and this is Headley. If you're here with us, could you please either touch the box, this box, or talk into that one, and we will know that you're here.
Sorry.
Forgiveness. Okay, could I have your name, please? The Tasma has gone to yellow. That means that there are electromagnetic fields going around it. That means that something has touched it. Thank you for that. Could you please do that again?
The Tasma box also flashed yellow, indicating an electromagnetic field, suggesting something had touched it. But the most astounding moment came when a voice clearly stated the name Edward. This was profoundly unsettling, as Edward Longan was one of the very men who had murdered the sailor centuries ago.
My name is Edward. Now, Edward was one of the 3 people that killed the sailor that night. Your name is Edward? So we got more than one person here. Hello, Edward.
And it's gone yellow.
Oh! So, Margaret, is it you that is selling this to yellow? Can you please step away from it? Thank you.
The revelation of Edward's name left Sam and Headley visibly shaken, their skepticism giving way to genuine fear. They couldn't believe they were potentially communicating with one of them. As they tried to press Edward for more answers, Sam found himself trembling, utterly overwhelmed by the direct and specific nature of the contact.
Freaks me out. We got Edward. I can't leave it like this. Not when we got Edward on this thing. Edward, are you here with us? Edward, are you one of the 3 men that killed the sailor? I'm shaking a little.
Right.
I can't believe it.
That was, yeah. That.
Edward, could you please talk into this box? I know that it's not in a very fortunate position, but could you please talk into it?
Hi Edward, this is Headley. Just wondering why you're here.
We tried to guess something else, but it wouldn't give it to us. But I heard a man's voice coming from behind us, and there was no one there. Voice actually, and I thought there was someone, but there isn't. Can you hear it? I hear voices, and I don't know whose voices I was hearing, but I could hear voices.
I had the, unfortunately I had my hoodie over my ears, so
okay.
I couldn't hear much.
Beyond the direct responses, a disembodied man's voice was heard distinctly coming from behind them, though no one else was present, adding another layer of terror to the already intense investigation. Moving to the sailor's gravestone, Headley reported hearing distinct women's voices, despite being in the middle of nowhere without any women nearby. During another session, they heard a man's voice, which they eventually linked to the name Noah, prompting them to directly ask if he was the sailor. Although the activity was less intense than on Gibbet Hill, the specific responses and disembodied voices continued to underscore the area's haunted nature.
To the sailor's gravestone, Headley heard women voices, but there are no women around. Keep going. Are you here with us, or are you over at the gibbet?
It's constantly in the background now.
Okay, keep going, keep going.
Oh, well, I don't know what he said, but he's responding when you talk.
Okay, that's good. We would really love to know your name. Spooked.
Noah.
Noah? Is your name Noah?
He's talking. It's so...
Despite the sudden quiet, the experience had left a profound impact on both Sam and Headley. The old A3 had indeed carried them into a past that refused to stay buried. And those were 7 horrifying nights campers spent deep in the woods. Now I'm curious, which story got under your skin the most? And honestly, if you were out there and something like that started happening, would you stay the night or pack up and leave? If you enjoyed hanging out and going through these stories with me, stick around because more strange encounters and unsettling nights are coming very soon.